Nobody told us that gradually, day by day, week by week, we would stop being the center of our kiddos' horse life. We would stop being needed in the ways that we have become accustomed to. A few weeks ago, sadly, Chloe got her driver's license, and almost overnight, something shifted. She drives herself and usually a friend to the barn at least 6 days a week this summer. She works at the barn without my needing to be there with her. She pops lessons into her days when the weather is perfect and I'm no longer there for a lot of them. She leaves the house at dark 30 for horse shows without me. She has this whole life at the barn now that happens without me being there. I knew that getting her license would impact my schedule, but what I didn't realize was how it would change my role. But I should have, because as I look back over my years as a horse mom, the one constant has been the evolution of my job and likely yours. So today I'm giving you the heads up that no one had the decency to tell me about is that our role shifts constantly. Welcome to Broke Horse Moms, the podcast for non-horsey horse moms who are figuring out this wild world of equestrian life together as we go. I'm your host, Angie Trueblood, and I did not grow up in this world either. I'm just a mom who started Googling things like what is a lead change 5 years ago, and I've never looked back. Okay, friend, let's get into it. Broke Horse Moms is presented by Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Nobody told me about Big D's, but I am glad I found them. They have a huge selection, fast shipping, and the kind of customer service Broke Horse Moms appreciate. Use code BHM10 for 10% off your order at bigdweb.com. That's BIGDweb.com. Well, hello, my friend. It's so good to be back with you today. Today's Nobody Told Us This episode isn't really about teenagers or driver's licenses. It's more about something that every horse mom and every horse dad likely will experience if we're lucky enough to stay in this sport long enough, because our job keeps changing and nobody warns us about how this shifting of our role might impact us. I think back to those early years of Chloe riding, and I was doing a lot of things to help her. I was carrying her helmet and packing snacks at shows. I signed her up for shows and I drove to every lesson. I remember standing on the rail at the shows, holding water bottles for her, all the things. In the beginning, it was like she almost couldn't do this sport without me. And then gradually, I started to be a little less needed. The second barn that we moved to was one where the kids were expected to tack up by themselves, which is obviously amazing. But sadly, now I don't even know how to tack up correctly sometimes when I try to pitch in and lend a helping hand. I remember when I started leaving her water bottle at shows with a friend or sitting by a tree so that she could have her mental space while showing because she needs that. Now she sometimes goes on trail rides with her barn friends and will ride in the truck with her trainer. So I don't need to go at all. She, in consultation with me, but primarily her, plans out what her show season is going to look like, and she signs up for the shows by herself. All of these separately seem small, inconsequential, but they're moments that I didn't recognize as milestones when they started to happen. As I look back, gosh, they are such huge milestones. And they all seem to lead up to this moment where right after she got her driver's license, she drove away from our house straight to the barn. And it wasn't about the license. It was about realizing that the barn was quietly becoming her place instead of our place. And that stopped me in my tracks. Everyone told me it would be a lot easier when she got her license, a total game changer, especially for a kiddo who's at the barn 6 days a week. And they were not wrong about that. I definitely work more regular hours. I sleep in on show days. I don't spend my time working from my hotspot in the car at the barn. And until this weekend, I hadn't filled a water bucket in weeks. So those are all pretty sizable benefits, I will say. But also, it's been a huge shift in my own life. Most parents of kids who play normal sports, they see their kids for an hour or so at soccer practice or baseball games. Horse moms often spend hundreds of hours at the barn with their kiddos. We don't just watch from the sidelines. We become a part of that pretty tight-knit community if you're at a great place. We know the horses, we know the trainer, we know the barn cats and the routines and the other families really well. So when that role shifts, it's not just about our kiddo becoming more independent. It's about realizing that our place in this little community is also changing. And when that happened, something else hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't just love watching Chloe ride. I love the barn. I love walking in and smelling the barn. I love stepping in to help graze a horse to, quote, help, right? It's really more for me than them. I love talking with the other moms and the other dads and watching all of the lessons. Over the past few weeks, I realized that I needed that barn break from regular life too. Now, let's not get it twisted. I do not miss planning my entire week around weather and the turnout schedule, but I do miss not being at the barn quite as much. I have found myself catching a ride with another parent from our neighborhood just so I can hang out for a bit. She'll pick me up on the way to watch her kiddo ride, and then I'll get a lift back from Chloe. This past weekend, when Chloe thought she would be at the barn working alone, she asked me to come up, and I popped my muck boots on and hopped in the car quicker, I think, than I have ever gotten to the barn before. Now, before you assume that it's just a me thing, like, yeah, Angie, you're nuts, it's just you. That's not the case, because when I got that ride with my friend the other day, another mom, Jen Waller, I am looking right at you. I watched this mom who was up there. Her daughter had finished her lesson, and it was the daughter who was dragging her out of the barn to go home because she wanted to stay and hang out. So I'm warning you, this could happen to you too, my friend. This is the thing nobody told us. You might actually fall in love with the barn too. You might be the lucky parent who just has to navigate their own evolving role in your kiddo's life, but you also might be the unlucky one who realizes that this life away from the barn isn't the life for you. Now, the beautiful part in all of this, with our role evolving and our kiddos becoming more independent, is that our horse kids, who have many of them been raised at the barn, already have this level of independence ingrained in them long before driving is ever a thing. They have learned to make decisions on the fly. They've partnered with a 1,200-pound animal. They can talk to adults in ways that many kids don't get exposed to until college and beyond. They've learned how to solve problems, and they've learned how to work hard when nobody is watching. So for us, the license wasn't really the milestone. It was just the first one that affected me. And I know it's affecting other families at our barn too. Chloe now drives many of her friends to and from the barn. So the rhythms inside of those families are shifting a bit too. I wouldn't say that our role gets smaller as our kids get older and become more independent, but it does change like it does in all aspects of parenting, right? For years, our kids needed us for those logistic type things, but now they need us for bigger things, really, for perspective and encouragement, brainstorming how to handle tough situations, giving them a safe place at the end of a rough day. We're still very much needed. It just feels and looks different. You're going to have to intentionally work to find new ways to spend time together. Gone are those 5,000 hours a week in the car together, driving to and from the barn. But you might find yourself like I am saying yes a little bit more often, probably than I used to, probably because I was so tired of driving to the barn 5,000 hours a week. Last week, Chloe had a day off. Well, whatever you want to call a day off. She still went up and rode 2 horses, but she wasn't working at the barn. And afterwards, I asked her, it was just me and her at the house. The boys had gone up to Maryland. And I was like, what do you want to do? And she said, oh, I want to go to Sergio's and get pizza and then go to Gelati. And we had a couple of other errands to run before Pony Finals, which, my God, is next week. And so we went and did a little bit of shopping. We grabbed pizza and ice cream. And then when we got home, we talked about watching a show together. And she wanted to watch this movie on Netflix called Stolen Baby, which is a documentary about literally a baby being stolen. But she said it was so good because she'd already watched it and she wanted us to rewatch it together. And I hopped in that girl's bed and we watched TV for 2 hours together. And I didn't say no once. It was basically like a yes day with her. Next week, we're going to have an entire week together at finals. I mean, she'll be with her trainer for a lot of the time. And a couple of her barn friends are going to be there for different reasons. But we'll get to spend that time together. We'll school shop once we get back as school kind of starts back up. And we'll settle into more of a normal mother-daughter rhythm. But that's the thing. The rhythm changes. The relationship shifts a little bit, but I think it's shifting into an even stronger one than before. I had a friend at the gym today, and her kiddos are about the same length of time apart that mine are, but they're very, very young. And we were talking about how every year older they get, every new milestone that we kind of cross, the relationship itself shifts a bit, but into one that I think I'm enjoying even more every new year and every new sort of milestone that we're faced with. Now, I am realizing that I might need a new role at the barn because, like I said, I'm missing my time there. So I texted our trainer yesterday and asked if there were any horses at the barn that she thought I could safely learn to ride. And she did say yes. So TBD, I'll keep you posted on that. Because here's the thing, Chloe went on this very cool trail ride with one of her best friends this weekend and a couple of adults. And that's what I've always said. What I want to do with horses is literally trail ride on the weekends. And really, I think I want to do some of those with my own kid. So I hope you enjoyed my little PSA. If your child is 10, enjoy helping them tack up. If they are 13, I would say stand your ground on the rail at shows because I'm now observing shows from the grandstands. If they're 16, don't be surprised if the barn becomes more theirs than yours. And again, that's not a sign that you are becoming less important. It's proof that you're doing your job. You are raising your kiddo to be a strong, independent young man, young woman, which is what I hear this whole parenting thing is all about. Our next episode is going to be a deep dive into what Pony Finals was really like. Definitely, if you're not following us on Instagram, go over there at Broke Horse Moms because I'll be sharing all the behind the scenes, sneak peeks and videos and all that good stuff over there. And at some point, I will share with you the link for the live stream because you can watch the kiddos ride and do their riding on the television, which is crazy to me, but it is available, but I will share it with all of you. And if you're not on our email newsletter, you're definitely going to want to get on that because when this episode comes out, I will have the link for the live stream and I can include it in the email newsletter if you want to watch some of the Pony Finals kiddos go around the ring and see what it's all about. Okay, friend, until next time, give your rider a hug if they will let you and take a deep breath, Mama. You're doing great. This is her literally calling me, asking where to park. Hold, please. Special thanks to our podcast editor and friend, Steve Woodward, who helps make sense of my rambling episodes and gives you the best audio experience possible. If you're thinking about starting a podcast and want his ears on your project, check him out at podcastingeditor.com.